Hello, my friends. Today I want to talk to you about something sacred, the inner world that each of us carries within. It's the space where our dreams are born, where our fears linger, and where our deepest truths reside. This inner world is precious. It's not meant to be exposed to everyone. It's not a stage for public performance, but a sanctuary for your soul. We live in a world that encourages oversharing, where we're told to put everything out there to post, to comment, to divulge. Social media has made it easy to blur the line between what's personal and what's public. But let me tell you, there is strength in discretion. There is power in choosing what to share and what to hold close. Not everything needs to be broadcast. Not everything requires an audience. Privacy is one of the most undervalued yet powerful assets in today's hyper-connected world. It serves as a shield for our inner thoughts, emotions, and vulnerabilities, protecting the sanctity of our personal lives. In a world that constantly encourages openness and sharing, there is profound strength in maintaining a sense of discretion. Privacy allows individuals to maintain control over their lives, shaping their narratives in ways that align with their authentic selves. It is not about secrecy, but about ownership of one's story, choices, and boundaries. When you value privacy, you empower yourself to make decisions free from the undue influence of external opinions or judgments. Every person has a unique journey filled with personal triumphs and challenges, and not every detail of that journey is meant for public consumption. By keeping parts of your life private, you preserve the freedom to explore your own emotions and navigate your experiences without the pressure of external validation. It becomes a way of prioritizing self-reflection and inner growth, ensuring that your decisions are rooted in your values rather than the expectations of others. In a world driven by social media and constant connectivity, the pressure to share every aspect of life can feel overwhelming. The modern culture of oversharing often blurs the lines between what is personal and what is public, leading many to mistakenly equate visibility with value. However, the power of privacy lies in its ability to provide clarity and authenticity. When you choose what to keep private, you create space to process your experiences on your own terms. This not only helps you maintain emotional balance, but also fosters a sense of self-awareness that is crucial for personal growth. Privacy also acts as a protective barrier against misunderstandings and judgment. When personal details are shared with others, they are often filtered through their perceptions, biases, and assumptions. This can result in misinterpretations that distort the reality of your experiences. Keeping certain aspects of your life private minimizes the risk of such distortions, allowing you to maintain control over your narrative. It ensures that your story remains yours to tell, untainted by the projections or opinions of others. Privacy also reinforces self-respect. When you establish boundaries around your personal life, you send a powerful message to yourself and others that your time, energy, and emotions are valuable. It demonstrates a deep understanding of your worth and a commitment to protecting it. This self-respect not only boosts your confidence, but also encourages others to treat you with the same level of regard. By valuing your privacy, you set the tone for how others should engage with you, creating relationships built on mutual respect and understanding. Not everyone deserves access to the most intimate parts of your life. Your thoughts, feelings, dreams, and struggles are deeply personal, and sharing them is an act of trust and vulnerability. In a world that often pushes for openness and transparency, it's important to remember that your personal life is not a public domain. The choice of whom to allow into your inner world is a profound one, and not everyone is equipped to handle that privilege with care, respect, or understanding. People often misunderstand the value of selective sharing. It's not about secrecy or isolation, it's about discernment. When you share parts of your life, you're inviting others to witness your story, your journey, and your essence. That invitation should be extended only to those who have proven themselves worthy of it. Trust must be earned through consistency, integrity, and mutual respect. Without these foundations, sharing too much can leave you exposed to misinterpretation, judgment, or even betrayal. When you allow someone access to your personal life, you're giving them insight into your vulnerabilities, hopes, and fears. This is a profound gift, but it's also a responsibility. Not everyone understands how to handle that responsibility, and not everyone has the emotional maturity or empathy to treat your experiences with the care they deserve. Some may unintentionally hurt you through careless words or actions, while others may deliberately misuse the information you've shared for their own benefit. By being selective about who you let in, you safeguard your emotional well-being and protect yourself from unnecessary harm. There's a natural tendency to seek connection and understanding from others, but not everyone will reciprocate those intentions with the same level of sincerity. It's crucial to recognize that some people are not ready or willing to hold space for your truth. They may lack the capacity to empathize with your struggles or celebrate your achievements genuinely. In such cases, oversharing can lead to feelings of disappointment, frustration, or even regret. Learning to discern who deserves access to your personal life allows you to channel your energy toward relationships that truly matter. One of the risks of granting too much access to the wrong people is the potential for judgment or criticism. Everyone views the world through the lens of their own experiences, values, and beliefs. When you share personal details with someone who doesn't align with your perspective, they may impose their judgments or project their insecurities onto your situation. This can lead to feelings of self-doubt and confusion, making it harder for you to trust your own instincts. Keeping parts of your life private helps you maintain clarity and confidence in your decisions. Setting boundaries around your personal life also reinforces your sense of self-worth. When you decide who has access to your story, you're taking ownership of your narrative. You're asserting that your experiences are valuable and not to be shared lightly. This act of self-respect sends a clear message to others you value yourself enough to protect your energy and prioritize your well-being. People who truly care about you will honor those boundaries and appreciate the trust you've placed in them. You owe it to yourself to be selective about who you let in. Your personal life is a treasure, and it's not meant to be displayed for all to see. Guarding it isn't about putting up walls, but about choosing wisely where to build doors. The people who truly deserve access will respect your boundaries and cherish the parts of your life that you choose to share with them. By prioritizing your well-being and valuing your privacy, you create a life that is grounded, authentic, and fulfilling. Protecting your peace is one of the most important acts of self-care you can practice. In a world that often feels chaotic and overwhelming, safeguarding your inner tranquility is essential for your emotional well-being and overall health. Your peace is not just a state of calm, it is your foundation, your anchor, and your source of clarity. When you protect it, you create a space where you can thrive, grow, and make decisions that align with your values and aspirations. Peace is not something that happens by chance. It is a choice, a practice, and a commitment to yourself. It requires you to identify what disrupts your serenity and to take deliberate steps to minimize or eliminate those disruptions. This might mean setting boundaries with people who drain your energy, stepping away from environments that feel toxic, or saying no to commitments that overwhelm you. Protecting your peace is not selfish. It is a necessary act of self-preservation. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and maintaining your inner balance allows you to show up fully for yourself and others. One of the first steps in protecting your peace is learning to say no. This simple word can be incredibly powerful, yet so many of us struggle with it. We say yes out of guilt, obligation, or fear of disappointing others, even when it comes at the expense of our well-being. But every time you say yes to something that disrupts your peace, you are saying no to yourself. Honoring your peace means recognizing that it is okay to prioritize your needs over others' expectations. Saying no is not a rejection of people, it is an affirmation of your boundaries and a declaration that your well-being matters. Your peace is also deeply tied to the energy you allow into your life. The people you surround yourself with have a profound impact on your emotional state. Some individuals uplift, inspire, and support you, while others drain, criticize, or bring negativity. Protecting your peace means being intentional about the company you keep. It is okay to distance yourself from relationships that feel one-sided, toxic, or unbalanced. You are not obligated to maintain connections that cost you your peace. Surround yourself with those who bring positivity, encouragement, and understanding into your life. Protecting your peace also means creating space for rest and rejuvenation. In a world that glorifies hustle and productivity, it is easy to feel guilty for slowing down. But rest is not a luxury, it is a necessity. Your body, mind, and spirit need time to recharge and recover. Make self-care a priority, whether that means taking a walk in nature, meditating, journaling, or simply doing nothing for a while. When you honor your need for rest, you are affirming your worth and investing in your well-being. Your peace is your sanctuary. It is where you find clarity, strength, and joy. Protecting it is not an act of isolation, but a way of nurturing yourself so that you can show up as your best self for the world around you. Peace is not something to be found, it is something to be cultivated and cherished. When you protect your peace, you create a life of balance, purpose, and fulfillment. Avoiding misunderstandings is a cornerstone of healthy communication and meaningful relationships. Misunderstandings often arise from assumptions, incomplete communication, or differing perspectives, and they can lead to conflict, hurt feelings, or unnecessary complications. Taking proactive steps to minimize misunderstandings not only enhances your interactions with others, but also fosters trust, clarity, and harmony in your personal and professional life. By prioritizing clarity and understanding, you create a foundation for more authentic and supportive connections. Cultural differences, personal experiences, and individual communication styles also play a significant role in how messages are interpreted. What seems obvious to one person may be entirely unfamiliar to another. Being mindful of these differences can help you tailor your communication to your audience. Empathy is key here. Try to see things from the other person's point of view and adjust your approach accordingly. This sensitivity not only minimizes misunderstandings, but also deepens your connections by showing that you value and respect the other person's unique perspective. Tone and nonverbal communication are just as important as the words you use. Body language, facial expressions, and vocal tone can either reinforce or contradict your message. For instance, a sarcastic tone or crossed arms may send a message that is entirely different from your spoken words. To avoid misunderstandings, ensure that your verbal and nonverbal cues align. If there's a chance that your tone or body language could be misinterpreted, consider addressing it directly. For example, saying, "I don't mean this in a harsh way," but can preempt potential miscommunication. Timing also plays a crucial role in preventing misunderstandings. Delivering an important message when the other person is distracted, stressed, or emotional can reduce their ability to fully process what you're saying. Choosing the right moment to have meaningful conversations can significantly improve understanding. Similarly, when emotions are running high, whether yours or someone else's, it's often best to pause and revisit the discussion later. This allows both parties to approach the conversation with a clear mind and an open heart. Written communication, such as emails or texts, poses unique challenges. Without the nuances of tone and body language, messages can easily be misunderstood. In written communication, it's especially important to be precise and thorough. Avoid using overly casual language or abbreviations that might confuse the recipient. When discussing complex or sensitive topics, consider speaking in person or over the phone instead, where tone and context can be more easily conveyed. If written communication is necessary, reread your message before sending it to ensure it accurately reflects your intent. Safeguarding your vulnerability is an essential part of maintaining emotional well-being and fostering healthy relationships. Vulnerability, while often seen as a sign of weakness, is actually a profound source of strength. It allows you to connect deeply with others, share your authentic self, and grow through life's challenges. However, it is also a delicate and personal aspect of who you are, and not everyone deserves access to it. Protecting your vulnerability means being intentional about whom you share it with and ensuring that the space you create for openness is safe, respectful, and supportive. Vulnerability requires trust. Sharing your fears, dreams, struggles, or insecurities is an act of courage, as it opens you up to the possibility of rejection or misunderstanding. For this reason, it is crucial to ensure that the person you are sharing with has earned the right to hear your story. Trust is built over time through consistency, mutual respect, and genuine care. By safeguarding your vulnerability, you give yourself the time and space to assess whether someone truly values and respects you enough to handle your openness with care. Not everyone is equipped to hold space for your vulnerability. Some may lack the emotional maturity, empathy, or perspective needed to respond in a supportive way. Others may misuse the information you share, whether unintentionally or deliberately, causing you hurt or regret. Recognizing this reality doesn't mean closing yourself off from others, but rather being discerning about who you let into your inner world. Protecting your vulnerability ensures that you are sharing with people who appreciate your trust and are willing to reciprocate with understanding and compassion. Setting boundaries is a key aspect of safeguarding your vulnerability. Boundaries are not walls meant to isolate you, but are guidelines that help you maintain healthy and balanced interactions. They allow you to communicate your needs and expectations clearly, ensuring that your emotional well-being is prioritized. For example, you might decide to keep certain topics private until you feel secure in a relationship, or you might choose to limit your openness in situations where you sense judgment or insensitivity. Boundaries empower you to take control of your narrative and protect yourself from unnecessary emotional exposure. It is also important to recognize that not all moments call for vulnerability. In some situations, being overly open can lead to discomfort or regret, especially if the timing or context isn't right. For instance, sharing deeply personal experiences in a professional setting or with someone you've just met may not be appropriate or beneficial. Being mindful of the context and considering the potential consequences of sharing can help you navigate vulnerability in a way that feels authentic and safe. While safeguarding your vulnerability is essential, it's equally important not to equate it with building walls that prevent meaningful connections. True intimacy requires a degree of vulnerability as it fosters trust, understanding, and emotional closeness. The key is balance, knowing when to open up and when to protect yourself. Vulnerability, when shared in the right circumstances, can strengthen relationships and create a sense of mutual support and empathy. Forgiveness also plays a role in protecting your vulnerability. At times, you may find that someone has mishandled your openness, either intentionally or unintentionally. While this can be hurtful, holding on to resentment only prolongs the pain. Forgiveness is not about excusing the behavior, but about freeing yourself from the emotional weight it carries. It allows you to move forward with a renewed sense of clarity and a deeper understanding of how to safeguard your vulnerability in the future. Practicing discernment also involves reflecting on past experiences where you've shared vulnerably. What felt safe and affirming? What didn't? These reflections can help you identify patterns and develop strategies for sharing more thoughtfully in the future. By learning from these moments, you cultivate the wisdom and confidence to protect your emotional well-being while still allowing space for authentic connection. By safeguarding your vulnerability, you create a balanced approach to openness that honors both your emotional safety and your capacity for meaningful connection. It is a practice that requires mindfulness, self-awareness, and courage, but the rewards are profound. You gain not only a deeper understanding of yourself, but also the ability to foster relationships that are grounded in trust, authenticity, and mutual respect. In protecting your vulnerability, you ensure that it remains a source of strength, growth, and connection. Respecting your boundaries begins with understanding them. This requires self-awareness and reflection. You need to identify what makes you uncomfortable, drains your energy, or compromises your sense of self. Boundaries are deeply personal and can vary from person to person. For some, it might mean limiting work-related communication during personal time. For others, it could involve saying no to social obligations that feel overwhelming. Knowing your boundaries helps you honor your needs and values while providing a clear framework for how you engage with the world. Once you've identified your boundaries, the next step is to communicate them clearly and assertively. This is often where challenges arise because expressing boundaries can feel uncomfortable, especially if you fear disappointing others or being misunderstood. However, communicating your limits is not about being confrontational, it is about being honest and authentic. When you state your boundaries calmly and respectfully, you give others the opportunity to understand and respect your needs. For example, saying, "I need some quiet time after work to recharge, so I'll be unavailable during that time," sets a clear expectation while maintaining respect for the other person. Respecting your boundaries also means enforcing them consistently. It's not enough to set boundaries, you need to uphold them in the face of pressure or resistance. This can be challenging, particularly when dealing with people who may not understand or accept your limits. However, when you compromise your boundaries to accommodate others, you risk diminishing your self-esteem and inviting further boundary violations. By standing firm, you reinforce your commitment to your well-being and teach others to respect your limits. One of the most common reasons people struggle to respect their own boundaries is the fear of conflict or rejection. You might worry that saying no or asserting a boundary will upset someone or damage the relationship. While it's natural to want to avoid conflict, it's important to remember that healthy relationships are built on mutual respect. If someone truly values you, they will respect your boundaries, even if they don't always agree with them. Conversely, if someone consistently disregards your limits, it may be a sign that the relationship lacks the respect and balance needed to thrive. Respecting your boundaries requires you to prioritize your own needs and well-being. This is not selfish, it is necessary for your overall health and happiness. When you neglect your boundaries to please others, you risk burnout, resentment, and a loss of identity. Prioritizing your needs allows you to show up as your best self in all areas of your life. It enables you to give to others from a place of abundance rather than depletion. Learning to respect your own boundaries often involves unlearning patterns of people-pleasing or overextending yourself. Many people grow up with the belief that saying yes to every request or meeting everyone's expectations is the only way to gain approval or be seen as kind. However, constantly prioritizing others at the expense of your own well-being is unsustainable and unhealthy. Breaking free from these patterns requires practice and patience, but it is an essential step toward creating a life that aligns with your values and priorities. Respecting your boundaries also teaches others how to treat you. When you consistently honor your limits, you set an example for how you expect to be treated. This not only fosters healthier relationships, but also attracts people who respect and support your needs. Conversely, when you fail to respect your own boundaries, you may inadvertently send the message that it is acceptable for others to do the same. By respecting your limits, you create a standard for how you want to be treated and build a life that aligns with your values. Cherishing sacred moments is about recognizing the beauty in the present, slowing down to savor life's most meaningful experiences, and allowing those moments to nourish our hearts and souls. Sacred moments are not necessarily grand events or extraordinary milestones, but rather the simple, quiet moments that connect us to something deeper, whether it's a feeling of peace, a sense of love, or an understanding of our place in the world. These moments, though fleeting, hold a profound significance when we take the time to truly be present and appreciate them for what they are. In the rush of our daily lives, it's easy to overlook the sacredness of the small, intimate moments that shape our experiences. We may be so focused on the next task, goal, or challenge that we miss out on the richness of the present. But when we learn to cherish these moments, we create space for gratitude, mindfulness, and deeper connections with ourselves and others. These sacred moments can happen anywhere, at any time, and are often found in the most unexpected places. It might be a shared smile with a stranger, a quiet moment alone in nature, a conversation with a loved one, or the feeling of a warm cup of tea in your hands. One of the keys to cherishing sacred moments is the ability to be present. Being present means letting go of distractions, worries, and future concerns to fully immerse ourselves in the experience at hand. It requires an intentional shift in focus from the noise of the outside world to the quiet of our own hearts. This presence allows us to fully appreciate the depth of a moment, to hear the nuances in someone's voice, to feel the softness of a hug, or to notice the play of light on a tree branch. When we are present, we experience life with all of our senses, allowing the sacredness of the moment to wash over us. The act of cherishing sacred moments also involves gratitude. When we pause to acknowledge the beauty or significance of an experience, we open our hearts to appreciation. Gratitude shifts our perspective, helping us to see the blessings in our lives rather than focusing on what we lack or what we wish were different. It reminds us that the present moment is enough and that there is beauty in the simplest things. For example, watching the sunrise can become a sacred moment when we take a few moments to feel grateful for the new day, for the stillness of the morning, and for the opportunity to begin again. Sacred moments often arise in times of connection with others. These moments can deepen our relationships as we experience the fullness of presence and attention in shared experiences. Whether it's a conversation with a friend, a family gathering, or a quiet dinner with a partner, the act of being fully engaged in these interactions turns them into something sacred. We may not always be able to express the meaning of these moments in words, but the sense of connection we feel is enough to remind us of what truly matters in life: love, care, and human connection. Another aspect of cherishing sacred moments is the ability to be still and reflect. In today's world, we are constantly moving, juggling multiple tasks, and rarely taking the time to pause and reflect on our experiences. Reflection helps us understand the deeper meaning of moments, allowing us to glean wisdom and insight from them. Sometimes the sacredness of a moment is not immediately clear, but is revealed in the quiet moments of contemplation that follow. This stillness provides an opportunity for introspection, for recognizing the lessons we are learning, and for recognizing the divine or mysterious presence that often accompanies moments of great significance. Cherishing sacred moments also requires us to slow down and recognize the impermanence of life. Nothing lasts forever, and the fleeting nature of moments only adds to their sacredness. Life is made up of small, beautiful moments that pass in the blink of an eye. Whether it's a childhood memory, a significant life event, or a quiet afternoon, these moments come and go, but they leave an indelible mark on our hearts. By cherishing them, we acknowledge their significance and allow them to shape our journey in meaningful ways. Focusing on self-validation is an essential practice for personal growth and emotional well-being. It means learning to rely on your own sense of worth and approval rather than seeking external validation from others. In a world where opinions, judgments, and external influences play a significant role in shaping our self-esteem, self-validation empowers us to stand firm in our own truth, recognize our value, and embrace our uniqueness. It's about learning to be the source of your own confidence rather than waiting for others to affirm you or your choices. The practice of focusing on self-validation starts with recognizing that you are enough as you are. Your worth is not contingent on other people's approval or success. It is innate, constant, and independent of external factors. When you validate yourself, you acknowledge your achievements, celebrate your growth, and appreciate your uniqueness without needing someone else to point it out. Self-validation is an act of self-compassion, reminding yourself that you are deserving of respect, love, and appreciation simply for being yourself. One of the core components of self-validation is self-awareness. By becoming in tune with your thoughts, feelings, and needs, you can better understand what truly matters to you and where your validation needs lie. Self-awareness allows you to separate external noise from your internal voice, enabling you to make decisions that align with your values rather than responding to outside pressure. It helps you navigate life with greater clarity so you don't feel swayed by every opinion or judgment. Self-validation requires you to listen to your inner wisdom and trust your instincts. Building self-validation also involves letting go of the need for perfection. Many people strive for perfection because they believe it will earn them the validation they seek from others. However, perfection is an unrealistic standard that can lead to constant dissatisfaction and burnout. By focusing on self-validation, you learn to embrace your imperfections and see them as an integral part of who you are. You begin to accept that mistakes are opportunities for learning and that your value is not diminished by your imperfections. This shift in mindset allows you to embrace your humanity and find peace in knowing that you are enough just as you are. Self-validation also helps you set healthy boundaries. When you are centered in your own sense of worth, you are less likely to tolerate disrespect or mistreatment from others. You can say no when something doesn't align with your values or needs, and you can advocate for yourself without seeking permission or approval. Setting boundaries from a place of self-validation means that you are protecting your emotional health and well-being, and you are teaching others how to treat you. Boundaries become an expression of self-respect, allowing you to navigate relationships with confidence and integrity. One of the challenges of focusing on self-validation is dealing with the fear of judgment. Many people are afraid to validate themselves because they worry about how others will perceive them. This fear can be paralyzing, leading to a constant cycle of seeking approval. However, when you focus on self-validation, you shift the focus away from the opinions of others and onto your own internal sense of worth. This shift allows you to make choices based on what feels right for you, rather than trying to meet the expectations of others. It liberates you from the need for constant approval and helps you build confidence in your decisions and actions. Self-validation also nurtures a strong sense of self-trust. When you learn to validate yourself, you stop second-guessing your choices and start trusting your judgment. This self-trust allows you to take risks, pursue your goals, and step into new opportunities with confidence. It gives you the courage to follow your own path, even when others may not understand or approve of your decisions. When you trust yourself, you know that you are capable of navigating whatever comes your way, and that you have the strength to bounce back from setbacks. Strengthening relationships selectively is about choosing to invest your time, energy, and emotional resources into the connections that truly align with your values, needs, and long-term well-being. Not all relationships are created equal, and not all of them deserve the same level of attention or care. While it's important to cultivate meaningful connections with others, it's equally crucial to recognize when a relationship may not be serving you in a healthy or constructive way. By being intentional about where you direct your relational energy, you can foster deeper, more fulfilling connections and protect yourself from the drain of toxic or one-sided relationships. Once you've identified which relationships are worth strengthening, the next step is setting boundaries. Boundaries are necessary to maintain your emotional health and to ensure that the connection is balanced and respectful. When you strengthen relationships selectively, you recognize that it's okay to say no, ask for space, or limit your engagement in certain situations. Boundaries help protect you from being overwhelmed by others' needs or expectations, and they allow you to maintain a sense of autonomy within your relationships. By clearly communicating your boundaries and expectations, you establish a foundation of mutual respect, which is crucial for any healthy relationship. It's also important to recognize that strengthening relationships selectively doesn't mean abandoning people who may need support. It's about striking a balance between caring for others and caring for yourself. There may be friends, family members, or colleagues who are going through difficult times, and while you may want to help, it's essential to assess how much you can give without compromising your own well-being. There's a limit to how much emotional energy you can offer others, especially when you're not receiving the same level of support or care in return. Strengthening relationships selectively means choosing to invest in those who reciprocate care, understanding, and respect, and knowing when to pull back from relationships that are emotionally exhausting or one-sided. In relationships that you choose to strengthen, it's also vital to cultivate mutual respect. This means acknowledging each other's autonomy, honoring each other's boundaries, and valuing each other's differences. Healthy relationships thrive when both individuals treat each other with kindness, understanding, and dignity. Respect goes beyond words. It's reflected in actions, choices, and behaviors that show you value the other person. When mutual respect is present, the relationship becomes a partnership rather than a power struggle, where both individuals are equal contributors and supporters of one another. Strengthening relationships selectively also means being aware of the emotional dynamics at play. Some relationships may require work to evolve into something more positive and supportive, but others may be best left behind. Emotional maturity is required to recognize when a relationship has run its course, especially when it's marked by toxicity, manipulation, or consistent disrespect. It's painful to let go of relationships that were once meaningful, but sometimes it's necessary for your own emotional well-being. Letting go is not an act of cruelty, but an act of self-preservation, ensuring that you are not continuing to invest in something that causes more harm than good. By learning to prioritize relationships that lift you up, you can create space for new, healthier connections. Forgiveness also plays a role in strengthening relationships selectively. It's important to recognize that no one is perfect, and we all make mistakes. In healthy relationships, forgiveness is a key component. It allows you to move past misunderstandings, hurt, or conflict without letting negative feelings fester. However, forgiveness doesn't mean tolerating repeated mistakes or accepting behavior that's harmful to you. Forgiveness is about healing both for yourself and the relationship, but it's always important to set clear boundaries about what is and isn't acceptable going forward. By forgiving and moving on, you also make room for growth, allowing relationships to evolve into stronger, more resilient bonds. Investing in relationships selectively also requires understanding the value of time and energy. Relationships, just like other areas of life, require attention and effort. By choosing to focus on relationships that truly matter, you make a conscious decision to invest in those that are most likely to bring you joy, support, and fulfillment. This means being intentional with your time, choosing who to spend it with, and knowing that you don't have to say yes to every invitation or engagement. When you are selective about where you invest your time, you create space for relationships that are aligned with your values and long-term goals, ensuring that your emotional and social circles are enriching and supportive. Preserving your identity is one of the most crucial elements of maintaining a healthy sense of self and well-being. It involves staying true to who you are, regardless of external pressures, societal expectations, or the influences of those around you. In a world that constantly pushes for conformity and fitting in, preserving your identity requires a conscious effort to stay aligned with your core values, beliefs, and passions. When you preserve your identity, you ensure that you are living authentically and making choices that reflect your true self, not the version that others may want you to be. At the heart of preserving your identity is self-awareness. Understanding who you are, what you stand for, and what you want out of life is essential in this process. It involves regularly checking in with yourself, reflecting on your thoughts, emotions, and actions, and ensuring that they align with your personal values and desires. Self-awareness helps you identify what makes you unique, what brings you joy, and what gives you purpose. This self-understanding allows you to confidently navigate the challenges of life without losing sight of who you truly are. It provides clarity in your decisions and helps you stay grounded no matter what external influences you may encounter. Preserving your identity also involves recognizing and resisting the pressures to conform that exist in society. Whether it's through social media, peer pressure, or cultural norms, we are often bombarded with messages telling us how we should look, behave, or think. These external pressures can create confusion, self-doubt, and a desire to fit in, causing us to lose sight of who we really are. In these moments, it is essential to remember that you are enough as you are. Embrace your uniqueness and know that you don't have to change yourself to meet someone else's standards. Authenticity is a powerful force, and when you embrace your true self, you attract the right people, opportunities, and experiences into your life. It's also important to recognize that preserving your identity doesn't mean isolating yourself from others or refusing to evolve. Relationships, experiences, and growth all play a role in shaping who we are. Preserving your identity doesn't mean rejecting change or growth, but rather staying rooted in your core values as you adapt to new circumstances. It means being open to learning, evolving, and expanding your horizons, but doing so in a way that remains true to your essence. You can grow without losing yourself, and embracing change becomes easier when you have a strong sense of who you are at your core. One of the most important aspects of preserving your identity is cultivating self-compassion. We all make mistakes and experience setbacks, but it's essential to treat ourselves with kindness and understanding, especially when we feel lost or disconnected from our true selves. Self-compassion allows us to forgive ourselves, to learn from our experiences, and to grow without self-judgment. It's about accepting that we are imperfect human beings, but that doesn't diminish our worth. When we practice self-compassion, we are better able to navigate life's challenges while staying true to who we are. It also helps us build resilience as we learn to bounce back from difficulties without losing sight of our sense of identity. Preserving your identity is not about rigidly holding on to who you were in the past, but about honoring who you are in the present and allowing yourself to grow in a way that is true to your essence. It's about staying grounded in your values and beliefs while being open to change, learning, and evolving. By practicing self-awareness, setting boundaries, resisting societal pressures, surrounding yourself with positive influences, and embracing your passions, you can preserve your identity and live a life that is authentic, fulfilling, and uniquely yours. It's a lifelong journey of self-discovery, self-acceptance, and self-love, but it is worth every effort to remain true to the person you were always meant to be.